Hello everyone, Luke here, and it's time to chill out this week. Now, I know I said in my last video that I would be talking about different series this week, like perfect example would be Mission Yotsuko Family or I Across the Triangle, Candy Floy, all that good jazz. Well, I decided to sort of like wait until next week when those chapters come out and I can actually like talk about the chapters and talk about my thoughts on the series and the series themselves as well. I'll still be doing that, so don't worry about that. And I thought, why not, since Shonen Jump is on break this week, why not we have a little break ourselves? And I thought, what kind of Dr. Stone material can I do? Yep, I've still got the poster up there, even though I'm sitting down for this one. I thought, what kind of Dr. Stone material I could talk about this week? I could talk about the Kingdom of Science itself, the characters. I could talk about the anime, potentially season 3 of what will go on there. But I figured, let's do something different. Let's do something completely different, and let's talk about one of the volumes. Yeah, so as you can see, I got volume 17 this week. Very excited about that. And I figured, you know what? Since a lot of the volumes have bonus materials in them, I figured, you know what? Since Dr. Stone is on break for 2 more weeks, we've got next week and then the week after that we've got the chapter. I figured, you know what? Let's give some love to the bonus material in this series, because not a lot of people do that. And you know what? In the future, I'll go through each volume. Look at its bonus materials and see what we can get out of it. See where all of this goes. Whether it's something that is a yay or a nay. But hey ho, let's just start with it. So the volume is called Pioneers of Earth. Very appropriate title, considering this is potentially the volume where season 4 will start off at, because at the end of volume 16, that was when they decided, like, we're going to go to North America first to set up currency, and this is the chapter where it starts off with all the interviews for Miami, where she's given all the interviews to all the various crew members, which could potentially lead into season 4 and lead into a recap episode, which would be the only time a recap episode would actually fit with the story, because she's given interviews to all the characters and they can recap what events transpired in season 3 and in season 2 and season 1. But hey ho, that's just an assumption. So yeah, that's just give you some context where we are. This chapter focuses on the poke game between Senku and Ryusui. Well, this volume focuses on the poker game between Senku and Ryusui, them getting to America and them meeting Dr. Stone for the first time, and it ends with Gen saying like the main scientist is Dr. Taiju. So that's the context of what's in this volume. So for starters, we will start going through it. So we'll start off with what's at the end of chapter 142, if we can actually get to it. Yeah, here we go. So is it not 42, 143. Sorry guys, sorry, me and my math. But yeah, this is so the bonus material is kind of funny in this, because you get ideas of like if Senku was an idiot, basically. Like right here, you get quite a lot of these in the bonus materials of the volume. So we'll look through this here. So this part is in reference to the argument that Senku was having with Ryusui about what route is supposed to be taken, and Senku wanted to take the shortest route to get there the quickest in the 40 days. But if Senku were an idiot, so this is before chapter 144 in the manga, where he goes, the shortest route straight through the earth, of course, as it showcases him just having the globe and just pushing like a pole right through the globe itself, and you see Gen, Kohaku and Ryusui just looking at us like, okay, that's one way to put it. But yeah, that's pretty funny. And I always like those moments where it's like the split, because Senku's just such a smart guy. It's like, what would happen if he was an idiot? If he wasn't the sharpest tool in the shed? Okay, so the next bit the next bonus material comes just before chapter 145, which is Bar Francois, and it's like a Mecha Senku Q&A. Another very interesting part here, which is somebody asking Mecha Senku the trick to winning at poker, and this is where Gen comes in, and it's kind of like they've created their own internet already, even before internet in the series exists at this point. Well, okay, internet does exist in the past, but Senku has yet to set up the internet in the future right now. But yeah, it's kind of like a Senku style internet here, where they're like, "Tell me the trick to winning at poker," and we have Gen basically using his trickery to go, "You're not asking about championship tourneys and a high roller casino, right? Just casual game amongst friends. Well, here's one betting technique." So yeah, Doctor Stone. Doctor Stone is advocating for poker and betting here. Screw you, Game Freak, for taking poker and gambling out of Pokemon. But Doctor Stone is where it's at. In all seriousness, it says right near the start to perform a very obvious bluff. Even with a weak hand, just do it, which makes sense. That is the obvious trick in the book to do if you have like a brick hand. Anybody who's played Yu-Gi-Oh knows this as well. It's like if you've got like a brick hand of just spell cards or high level monsters, you can kind of like bluff and think like, okay, I see. So it's kind of an obvious trick to do there. Before it goes on to say, when you inevitably lose a hand, put on a tough guy act and say, "Yeah, well, I totally knew this was going to happen," which is which is important, but make the others think, "What a chump!" Like obviously using tactics to get under your opponent's skin and kind of make them make a mistake and hopefully take advantage of that mistake. And again, in all his sneaky glory, goes, "After that, wait until you have an absolutely strong hand and then go all in. What's this? Your opponent refuses to fold over and over. Then they'll be driven by the desire not to fold again, like that first time. Inevitably, they'll be thinking, I'd rather lose in an honest fight than be tricked again. People hate nothing more than being made to dance in the palm of another's hand. It's frustrating. Strike at their weakest." Basically saying like, look, you've got to get under your opponent's skin here if you want to win this game. And of course, after the whole Bar Francois chapter, which had all the cocktails and everything, which I still need to do those cocktails. Now that I've got the volume itself, I could probably go and do them myself if I ever get a chance. But hey ho, that'll be something. Hopefully, fingers crossed. Hopefully, maybe I'll take this volume with me on holiday, because minor thing I'm going to say here is that okay, so we're off next week for Doctor Stone, and then we're back in the week after for Doctor Stone, which would be, let me just have a quick look, guys. Let me just get my phone, check the calendar. Okay, so we're off next week. Then we have the chapter coming out on. Okay, so this is what it's saying here. Oh, okay. So I have the chapter that week, and then Shonen Jump goes on break for the 15th. Which amazingly is the week I go on holiday. Like I go on holiday the 14th of August, and that's the week when Shonen Jump is on break itself. So yeah. That's amazing. Oh, and I will be back to do the chapter on August 22nd. I believe that's the schedule itself, because it did say Doctor Stone would return in the double issue, which usually when there's a double issue, that's usually an indication that it's going to be a break. So hopefully, fingers crossed, that won't be interfering and I can go on holiday. So basically I'll be doing the Shonen Jump break myself. So yeah, that's what's coming up with me. I'm going on holiday in August, and maybe I'll take this volume with me, and maybe we'll whip up some of the cocktails in this volume itself. Maybe I'll take volume 16 as well, because that has one of my that has the climax of Treasure Island, and I love that climax. But anyway, continuing on, this is after the whole Bar Francois thing, and as it goes, if Senku were an idiot once again, as Gen's like, sulfuric acid in our drinks, and Senku's like, just drinks sulfuric acid itself and dies, and he's like, don't try this at home, you could die. See, I tried it and I died. So yeah, this is reference to the fact that they were basically using sulfuric acid, but a diluted form in the drinks themselves. That's basically what it got at there. And okay, before chapter 147, we have the worker file, which is basically giving us supplementary information on the characters, and this time it's Matsukaze. So here's his worker file. His sword skills are 5 out of 5. His fertility is 5 out of 5, and his alcohol tolerance is 1 out of 5. Makes sense because he is a lightweight. He drunk one beer and was passed out. But his height is 173 centimeters, which let's convert that into height. Let's convert that into feet. So 173 centimeters in feet. So Matsukaze is 5 feet 8 inches tall. So that's something nice to be confirmed here. And his job in the kingdom is obviously a bodyguard to Ginru, and this is some of his backstory here. Hundreds of years ago, Matsukaze was the most skilled warrior on the island and aide to his lord and master. As someone who follows the Bushido code, he views Y-Man as the detestable villain who took his master's life. Just before being petrified, Matsukaze carved the Medusa design into his own arm in the hopes of passing the message to the future generation. That decision eventually led him to Senku and his friends. Even centuries later, Matsukaze vows revenge. Okay, so if Matsukaze isn't one of the people to go to space to confront the Y-Man, that'll be a missed opportunity there. A greatly missed opportunity. Oh my god, I've just realised something, guys. I've just realised something. Okay, so the volume is named after the title of chapter 148, which was Pioneers of Earth as well. So that's something I just noticed there. So we're up to the stuff before chapter 148, which is another Mecha Senku Q&A. And the question this time is, Senku's Kingdom of Science now has even more super strong people. Who's the strongest at this point? And this is where Kohaku comes in to answer the question. Wait, is that... Wait, I've just got to check something, guys, quickly. Just got to go back quickly. Oh, right, it's people directly asking the questions to Inagaki and Boichi, and they're basically answering the questions in character as if they were one of the characters. So for the poker one, it was YK of Okama Prefecture. So I've butchered that completely. So that was for the poker game. And this question about the strongest in the Kingdom of Science, Futa Hoka of Miyagi Prefectures. Yeah, I can't pronounce that word that's in the volumes. If someone wants to pronounce it for me, call me on Discord, join the Control Chaos Discord and come and answer it for me, because that'll be immensely helpful. But anyway, Kohaku answers this question. We get this question a lot, but the answer can vary a lot depending on the battlefield. Here's some blunt battle ability analysis from me. Keep those stats in mind coming forward. So the characters that she's referring to here are Tsukasa Hyoga herself, Kinru, Mozu, Kirasami, and Matsukaze. So in terms of destructive power, it's surprising here, because you would have thought that title would belong to Tsukasa. Like, destructive power, Tsukasa would easily win, but nope. Mose gets that because he gets double S, whereas Tsukasa only gets one S. So that's kind of interesting to think there that in terms of destructive power, it's not Tsukasa, but actually Mozu. But anyway, Hyoga's B, Kohaku's A, Kinru's B, Kirasami's C, and Matsukase's A. So quite interesting stats there that I wasn't expecting at some points. But in terms of martial arts, Hyoga and Tsukasa easily wipe everyone out there because they're double S on that front. Kaku's B, Kinryu's A, Mozu's C, Kirasami's B, and Matsukase's S in terms of martial arts. Now, in terms of agility, Tsukasa's A, Hyoga's B, Kaku easily wipes the floor with everyone there, double S. Kinryu's C, Mozu's A, Kirasami's A, which makes sense because when Kirasami and Kaku were sparring at the end of Treasure Island arc, she commented on Kaku's skills being stronger than what she initially anticipated, and Matsukase's S. So pretty interesting that Matsukase is actually faster than Kinryu is, and faster than Mose and Tsukasa. That's pretty interesting, those stats there, considering how easily Tsukasa floored Matsukase when they initially met and they had that spar. Now, in terms of range, Tsukasa is B, Hyoga SS. So Hyoga wins flat out. So it's kind of interesting how Kinryu and Matsukase are the only ones in these stats that don't have an SS rank, whereas everyone else does in different fields. And it's quite interesting how Hyoga is the only one out of them to have 2 SS ranks. He has SS in martial arts and range. So Kohaku is C, which makes sense. She's more of a she tends to more prefer fighting people up close and personal. Kinryu is S, Mozu is S. Kirasami is SS, which makes sense because of the fact that she was basically the throwing person for the Medusa, so that makes sense that her range would be SS. And Matsukase is B. So quite interesting rankings there. Very interesting and quite surprising on that front, considering some of these rankings I did not expect. But hey ho. That's the way of the word. That's the way of the authors. What their stance is on the characters, and we've just got to accept that. And now for something completely different with the stuff before chapter 149, which this bonus supplementary material focuses on the alligators that were killed by the power team when they first arrived in North America, and it shows like the after image of that basically the spirit of the alligator talking here as it goes, yeah. I picked the wrong fight for sure. Yeah, you sure did, Mr. Alligator. Those smooth and shiny monkeys. I love that. The fact that all the animals in this series, in their minds, refer to the humans as smooth and shiny monkeys. I just love that. They're strongest demons. Every last one of them. You don't want to mess with them. I'm just hoping that my pals who got away learned that lesson. Yep. No, they didn't. They did not, Mr. Alligator. Now, before chapter 115, not much to say, except it shows Senku with a game controller. I am not even kidding. Senku with a game controller. If that is foreshadowing for Math City right now, then bravo, Boichi and Inagaki. If not, that is like the strangest coincidence that the month that Volume 17 comes out in English, that's the month we get the notion that they're talking about video games. Coinky dink? I think not. But anyway, nothing much to say on that front. So we can move on to the stuff before chapter 151. So we're in the end run here of this video, which is another Mecha Senku Q&A video brought to us by Mufu from Osaka. Finally, something I can pronounce properly. But anyway, their question is, Ginryu placed a winning bet during Senku and Ryusui's game, so is he really rich now? As we see the image of Ginryu going, I'm rich, after Senku won the poker game, and Mecha Senku is the one that answers this, and it is quite funny because it is a Ginryu style thing that he would actually do, which is he gambled a bit too much in the casino afterwards and wound up totally bankrupt. Yeah, that fits Ginryu to a core. He's probably like, I'm rich, I'm going to bet on everything here. And then it all goes his way. It's like, oh, it's kind of like reminiscent of when he was getting cocky Cocky level 1, cocky level 2, cocky level 3, maxed out cockiness, and then Tsukasa brought him down a peg, and it was like cocky level 0. It's like, oh, still have my bodyguard. So yeah, that was kind of funny. And to wrap up this video, we will, if I can find it, unless, oh no, that's it. That's all the bonus material. But we'll just wrap up the video by looking at what the authors say in this volume, because both of them put like little comments about the series and about what's happening in particular volumes at the end of the volume, which is we'll start with Inagarki's. Senku's and Friends' big voyage around the world really kicks off in this volume, but first let's raise a toast, which obviously has a picture of him making Senku's cocktail in real life, which you've got to appreciate the authors here. As he goes on to say, like in the last volume, here is another picture of a drink. After reading the chapters, please look up some cool images of the real life drinks to get a better feel for them. I got them to make these drinks for me at an actual bar, and you can even mix them at home. So it's kind of incredible that they're actually doing the science and making the stuff in the series in real life to actually get a feel for what the characters are actually feeling in the series. Shows just how much time and energy Inagaki and Boichi are actually putting into the story, and shows how much they're just loving the story, and actually you can tell that an author just put so much heart and passion into it when even they want to imitate things from their own story themselves. So you can tell that this story really means a lot to them. So you gotta give respect to them as well. And we'll look at Boichi's comment, because his comment is really long here, as he says, I like to imagine what Senku would say about how humanity ought to live when faced with a crisis. Number 1, rely on science and reason. Number 2, put in the effort and be passionate about it. Don't fall for temptation. Don't look at a crisis as a chance to take advantage and be greedy. Instead, think of a chance to build a better world. Fits Senku completely. Those 4 things absolutely fit Senku. I believe these are the messages that Senku is imparting. Beyond that, I also think that Inagaki Sensei is practicing what he preaches. Recently, he made the switch to digital when preparing rough drafts of the chapters. All of a sudden, he quit doing it the way he's done it his whole life and changed to a new method. So that's really interesting that we're actually seeing that, how Inagaki, up until this point, before starting work on Art Stone, actually probably did it all by hand. But now that Senku is working to build a new world himself, he's like thinking like, okay, how can I be impacted? How can I put my stance on the world of Dr. Stone itself? And he's made the switch from handwriting to digital, which you got props to that for the author, because some authors are like too stubborn themselves, like they have to keep in their own bubble, like, no, this is the way I've always done it, it's always worked for me. But nowadays, because we're all going into a new technical age, it's they've got to adapt. And while some authors don't do that, other authors like Inagaki is adapted to it and is trying out new techniques and actually benefiting from them themselves. So gotta really respect him on that front. But anyway, his last comment is, I can see why that would be necessary for the artist, but why should the writer have to put in that extra effort? What he did makes life easier for our editor, but mostly for me. Certainly not for him, which is why I'm so shocked. That's what makes him my author, our author, a man who lives by his own lessons. Amazing. Very, very, very nice messages there from Boichi to Inagaki, and the fact that in fact, this is new territory for Inagaki himself, and Boichi knows this, but the fact that Inagaki is willing to go that extra mile for not only the artists of his series, but also the editor, and to make their lives a whole lot easier. Really respect him on that front. Gotta respect Inagaki, and respect for Boichi for actually giving that message. And go and subscribe to Boichi's channel. I'll leave a link in the description where he does a lot of the drawings from the series, and and it's really interesting to see how he draws and what and how it's different, because he does mainly the digital side, but sometimes he does the manga side, like when he actually draws it by hand, and it's really interesting to see the differences in how he sketches out in digital to how he sketches out in real life. So pretty interesting on that front, and you should definitely go and support him. Go and support the official manga release by buying the volumes and supporting them, like I've done right now. And I'll definitely be going through all the volumes at some point, like volumes 1 to 16 and from 17 to whenever the series ends, because I honestly did enjoy this video, going through the bonus materials and just reading the comments. Some of really nice, respectful comments on that front. And Boichi, you're the man. So are you, Inagaki. Keep writing, keep creating, keep bringing entertainment to the light, because you guys obviously enjoy doing the series that you're doing, and I can clearly see that passion, which is why I love this series so much. Even if it's had a few little bumps in the road, still love it and still respectful. But anyway, guys, what did you think of me me going through the bonus material of this chapter, of this volume? Let me know. Like, subscribe, comment, all that jazz. This will be Lasherluke signing off. Later, guys.